Thank you for joining me today. Today we have myself there and there's Darren on the left. And we're looking for a new spot to actually do a hike and fly that's away from the club site, that we can go on our own time and that we feel it's safe. And it looks like we've done all the research, so we think. There's a landing zone, the launch spot up top. It's only 890 feet high, but we feel like we can bench our way up. This is the bottom of Cucamonga Peak in Rancho Cucamonga, California. There's a launch up top on the left. It's an easy road to hike. It's paved. It's only like 1.4 miles from the trailhead. And I'm able to con a couple of my friends to come with me 2 weeks prior to try to test it out. There's Danny there and Micah, another fellow pilot, and then myself on the right. And after a few attempts, I get up, but the landing isn't what we thought. I was trying to land on the road, but I was coming in pretty hot, and there was a couple of hikers down there that didn't think that they wanted to move, so I ended up bailing out in the bushes, which was fine. Not ideal, of course, so I do some research and I find a new spot. You can see the new landing zone there on the upper left. It's an open field. It looks good, it looks doable. It's a little crosswind. You can see we want a south-southwest wind there, and I'm coming into the side. There's a side view of it, so the wind would be coming in from the left of that. And I'm a little nervous about rotor already coming in through there, but it's definitely doable. And today it's blowing north at our fellow site. That's only the next mountain range over. So today it's blowing south-southwest at this site, so we figured, hey, it'd be a good spot to test this out. There's Darren, myself. It's a beautiful day. We're hiking up, and we're setting up, and we're getting some backwind on there, so we have to actually launch at the very tip, the very edge of this spot here to get the oncoming flow of air. And it takes us a few attempts, but we do get the wing up. And there's Darren. He's the first to launch successfully, gets up in the air. It already is looking good. And I'm just watching him, seeing where the thermal's gonna hit. He finds one pretty quick, and he bumps up, and I'm totally stoked on that. And I know where to go when I launch. Now I'm a little nervous because I'm by myself. I did help him get his wing up a little bit and get some of the twigs and sticks out of there for him, and I have nobody to help me. But I really luck out and get a good cycle, and I'm able to pull up right away without any interference from twigs or branches. And so I definitely was a little luckier than Darren on that sense, mainly because of my cycle that came in. Barely get it up, but once it pops up, it's nice and strong and firm. And there's the edge there. You can see there's not a lot of room to play with. So I get up, it feels good. I just taken my seat board out about a couple flights ago to kind of feel what it's gonna be like, and I'm having a little problem getting into my harness. And it's not too long after that I realized I'd forgotten to connect my speed bar in all the commotion. There, I'm trying to get back in there. Okay, I feel good now. And I'm able to climb up, but I noticed immediately, and so did Darren, he was radioing in, that it's really rough right above launch for some reason. Really rough. So I definitely want to connect my speed bar before I get up there. Later on, showing our instructor this video, he had told us that we were launched in the famous Kook Rotor, and it's a rotor that in the past, now people used to fly here in the early 90s, and they would fly this rotor because on north days, this site here would blow south-southwest because of the rotor. It's actually dangerous. At that time in the early 90s, the president of the club that we fly at got rattled around pretty good in this rotor and the shear actually, and had quit the sport soon after that, and no one flew here again since. So I'm just playing around here, trying to get up, bench my way up, just kind of feeling out the air, seeing what it's like. I'm pretty excited, but I'm a little nervous because my speed bar isn't connected, so I want to plan a route to connect that, and I want to get above launch again so I can venture out from the hill and take care of that. I notice on the side of the hill it is a little bumpy, but I'm just exploring, checking it out. I feel like it'll be a decent flight. This flight was actually only 20 minutes long. You'll see why in a little bit here. But going back to that Kook Rotor, as it's called, on north days, the north winds will come around the Cajon Pass there on the right. You can see the green lines, and it comes up, giving the weather stations a false reading. And you have air aloft over there at 10,000 feet coming overhead, so it creates quite a bit of rowdiness overhead. So now I'm back up, I'm over launch again, and I feel like now is a good time to start venturing out away from the hill into stable air, so I can reconnect my speed bar, and at that point give me confidence to play around more. And at that time I thought that rowdy air was maybe an inversion, and I'd like to climb through it if possible. But in reality, it's probably a blessing in disguise that I didn't have my speed bar connected. As you see, I'm venturing out from the mountain there to connect it. I'm having trouble connecting it. And I head back to that mountain. I know there's a couple thermals in that area that are pretty consistent. I'm going to hit them and just work my way up. The top of this peak that this ridge runs on, Cucamonga Peak, is above 8,000 feet. So my goal is to eventually get used to this site to where I can make my way up there eventually. And I see that I'd sunken out because I got too far from the mountain. So that was a little frustrating to cut my flight short. Darren has just landed as well, and he's packing up. So at this time I have no choice but to plan my approach, and now comes the moment of truth, how this landing is going to be. And I'm a little nervous now just because I haven't landed here before. It's a new landing spot, and it's a little bumpy right in this area. There's some ridges down in the ground, like some trenches, and it's creating some bumpiness. But I'm just trying to figure out how I want to come in on here. I'd already planned it out, but just getting a feel of the air, and also if I land short or something happens, I'm really scoping around just to see where I could land if I don't make it, or just in case if I overshoot it. You can see the power lines ahead there. Obviously I don't want to go that way. And there's a humongous house right in front of that landing spot, and I'm really worried about wind shadow or rotor. And there's also a ramp right before the house that could create a rotor as well, and it does create a little rotor for me at landing. We'll see here. I'm trying to go in towards the wind the best I can. It's coming from the left a little bit, and right about here I feel the rotor, and it just drops straight down. Not too far though, not too bad. I feel like if I would have been a little further out to the right towards the mountain a little more, it would have been not so bad.
Sure was bumpy.
But we land safely, and we're totally excited.
I think there's a rotor coming up
Definitely
that
totally
ramp.
stoked. But I just want to thank you for joining me on this little adventure that we went on today.
We're down.
It's not every day we do something like this. We get used to flying at our local club site and just get caught up with the politics and things like that. And it's nice to do something like this and get away from it all. And that's how the sport started really in the first place, the adventure of it. That's how it all happened. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will try to make some more for you, and we'll see you on the next one.